Hi, my name is Melanie and I'm from Hardware Science. We're a science program under Ben Franklin Crafts Ace Hardware stores. I'm so glad to be here today. I have a couple of one great activity you could do. You know, many of us are stuck at home due to the pandemic, and this is something you can do at home, and you can actually watch throughout the weeks and the months to see the fruition of your planting. So what we're going to be doing today is a Desktop Hydroponics. It's one of our science project kits that we have at Ben Franklin Ace stores. And we do this at schools, and we do this at different events and programs. So this is actually the finished products right here. This is a 2-liter. This is the basil, and this is wheatgrass that I'm growing. So we'll go over this in a little bit later. I just want to kind of show you what they kind of look like at the end. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab some soil, and we normally use soil that is called coco coir. So it's not quite dirt, it's coco coir, and coco coir is actually coconut husk fibers that are like grinded really fine, and they end up looking like kind of like this right here, like soil. And then we have some perlite. These white little dots are called perlite, and they actually help the soil maintain the moisture. It holds in the water, and it actually gives a little bit of air in the soil, so it's not so clumpy. So what you're going to do is very simple. Just go ahead and grab like a cup or 2 of soil and some perlite. I already have some already in a bowl. This is just tap water, and you're going to mix the soil and the perlite together with some water. And my suggestion is that you just pour a little at a time versus dumping it all in, because you don't want mud consistency. You kind of want something that's more of moist, and it's clumping. You see how it's clumping? It's not quite dry, and it's not quite runny. And you'll know when you have enough water. Like, see right here, I have some dry spots. It's not quite clumping. So I want to go ahead and pour some more water. And don't worry if you pour too much water. You can just go ahead and pour some more of the soil and the perlite to just kind of even it out. I did make a lot more than I need to, but I just kind of wanted to show you what the clumpiness and the consistency of the soil. So I think this is ready. Okay, so we're going to put this on the side. What you're going to need to get, okay, we're making a 2-liter desktop hydroponics today. So these are 2-liter bottles. These are 2 different types of liter bottles. This is Coca-Cola. I'm not advocating for any brand, but this is a Coca-Cola bottle, and this is just a regular bottle you normally see Pepsi or mug root beer. And what you want to do is you get a ruler, and you measure from the bottom till just about the middle, and I added some lines, and you want to do 7 inches from the bottom. Okay, once you do that, you just make a mark. And I actually made marks throughout the bottle, so I kind of have like a line to follow. And then you just go ahead and you cut right across. You grab a scissors, it's very easy to cut. You just cut right across. It's okay if it doesn't match up to the lines. You can always go and fix it. Okay, so you see how, so you just kind of want to do that. And you want a 2-liter bottle that has more of a fat end. I know there are some bottles that are kind of long, like I guess there's some type of water bottle that comes with the long neck. You don't want the long necks. You want the ones with the short necks like this. And then they all come with caps. Okay, so this one actually is not the cap for this drink, which is fine. You want, if you happen to lose your cap, or if you can't find it, grab any cap that has the larger width. You don't want one that's skinny like this, because they won't fit. Okay, we want the ones that will actually cover all the way, twist all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so once you do that, okay, I'm gonna put that on the side. Now for the cap, what you're gonna need to do is make a 1/4 inch hole in this. I actually used a drill, but you don't need to use a drill. You can just use a screwdriver. Just kind of pound it in with a hammer, and just make a hole. And it needs to be big enough for you to place in, to put in a rope. Okay, and I'll show you the type of ropes that we have here. Let's put the water on the side. So the type of rope you're going to use, and this is going to be your wick. Okay, the wick is what brings the water to the plant. So I have two different types of wick here. One I already have on the cap. One is a cotton one that you can get from a craft store. They use this for macrame. And this one you can get at the craft store and even at the hardware store like Ace Hardware. And this is just rope that you would buy, that you would use just to tie. Try not to get the synthetic type of ropes because we need something that'll soak up the water because this is what's gonna water your plant. Okay, and once you do that, you wanna measure at least about 7 inches because that's how, and if you have a little over 7 inches, that's totally fine. Okay, a little bit more will help. Okay, and I'll show you why. So the macrame rope is a little bit longer than 7 inches, about maybe 10 inches. So if you get something a bit more loose and more flexible, this is not quite flexible. Okay, you want a little bit extra because you're going to coil it in, and I'm going to show you that. We're going to use this one today. Okay, but if you don't have this type of rope, cotton rope, you can use this. You can use a shirt, a t-shirt, a cotton shirt. Just cut a little strip, make sure it fits through the hole. If it doesn't fit through the hole, or excuse me, if it does fit through the hole but it's too big, just tie a little knot so that it stays on, okay? All right, so we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get started. I like to tape my ends just because it doesn't frail. So like if you see here, I tape this one end. And it also helps me to place the string, or the rope, excuse me, the rope through the hole. And once I get it through, I just go ahead and I just snip it off. Okay, so you see it's a little loose. Okay, so I want to go ahead and tie a knot around this. I'm going to tie a knot right around here so that it doesn't come off. Because you kind of want it snug because you don't want the water to leak through. So now I have a tape at the other end, so I'm just going to go ahead and snip it right off. Okay. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and place the cap onto the cover. Okay, so again, like I said, you don't need to have the same type of cover as you would whatever bottle you bought. You can, whatever cap you have, as long as it has a wide part, then it'll fit. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and place this on top of the bottom part of the 2-liter bottle. So if you notice, the rope kind of coils at the bottom. We want to go ahead and coil it on the top instead of on the bottom. So let's go ahead and pull it up so it just touches the bottom of the 2-liter bottle. And not to worry if it does hang down a little bit more, that's not a problem. You can go ahead and just coil the top just like what I did right here. All right. Now, if you notice in this one, I do have water beads. Have water beads, and I'm not sure if you can tell, but there's actually some gravel that you would find in an aquarium. Okay, so that you can use that. Place this on the bottom because it does get a little top heavy before we start to add water in it. And I just added the water beads after to just kind of make sure there's water in the container. So I'm not going to go ahead and place any gravel in there. I'm just going to go ahead and get, just want to show you what you can do to add to the aesthetic of it and making it a little bit more prettier. Okay, so remember that soil we mixed? We're going to go ahead and start our planting. So we're going to grab some soil. I'm going to pour it in here, making sure to cover the rope that you have in there. And now remember, whoops, yep, gets a little messy, but that's the fun part of it, I think. So just remember when you're pouring the soil into your hydroponics. We want to keep it what I call fluffy. I call it fluffy because you don't want to pack it down. You want it to be kind of airy. Okay, so I'm going to pour the soil in here at least half of it, until it's halfway. So you kind of can tell, you can just lift it up. It's not quite halfway there yet. So go ahead and pour a little more. Pretty easy so far. Okay, and you see how I'm not packing it in? I know there's an urge for you to press it in, but you don't need to. Just kind of make it fluffy. I like to call it fluffy. All right, almost there. Okay, so I think that's kind of good. Let me just take this off so you can see. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna get our seeds. I happen to have wheatgrass, and this is what wheatgrass looks like. Kind of big, huh? Wheatgrass. So my recommendation is to, what type of seeds? Okay, well, my recommendation is you do a lot of herbs. Like this is basil. This is wheatgrass right here. So basil, onions, green onions are really great. They do need a lot of water, so you need to make sure you water green onions. Chives. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some wheatgrass in here. Wheatgrass is really good, by the way. It's very healthy for you. It keeps your system going. Not sure if any of you have gone to Jamba Juice in the past. Now they don't have it anymore, but they used to have wheatgrass in the back of their store, and they would cut some and would place some into your drink. Okay, you want to put a lot of seeds. You want to put a handful. I just put like a handful. I'd say maybe this is about 10 or 15 of them. Okay, so now that we have our seeds, we're going to go ahead and cover the seeds loosely again. Okay, we don't want to pack it in. We want it to have a lot of space for it to grow. Okay, just want to make sure all of the seeds are covered. Okay, so that's basically done. Now for you to take care of this, you just go ahead and you water the plant like you would do any plant. Water it just a little bit, give it some sun. Our sun is very strong, especially in the middle of the day, so you may not want to keep it outside for very long. You may want to keep it off to the side and just kind of put in the sun for probably in the morning is better. It's not as hot. And once you start to see some sprouts like this, once you start to see some sprouting, that's when you're gonna actually place water on the bottom. Okay, like this one, I do have a gravel, and I did put some water beads if you notice. But once you start to see some sprouting, you want to go ahead and place some water into the bottom portion of the 2-liter bottle. This is a Coke bottle, if you can tell. I like the Coke bottles only because it has a line right here, and I don't need to mark anything. I just go ahead and I just cut it. Yeah. So, and if you can tell, I used the manila rope. Okay, so once it starts to sprout, you're going to place water in here, and you don't want to fill it all the way to the top where it touches the cap. You want it just below the cap. Okay, so I have water beads in here, which is why the water is a bit lower. Water beads hold on to the water, so once you start to see the water beads kind of getting smaller, that means you need to put more water in. Okay, and of course, if it gets too dry on the top, go ahead and you can spritz some water on it. You can water it a little bit because our sun does get a little harsh, so you don't want it to get too dry. Another thing, instead of water, you can put fish tank water, and it's very healthy. It has a lot of nutrients. You can put fish tank water in here. If you want to put fertilizer, that's fine. You can put fertilizer on the top or on the bottom. Either one works perfectly. So I know you're thinking, well, I don't drink juice or soda, so what else can I do? Well, I did bring something else, and this is called a mini Desktop Hydroponics. As you can tell, this is The wheatgrass is a little bit dry. I left it in the sun a little bit too long. So this is actually using Starbucks cups. If you can see right here, we just made a hole. I know when you purchase the Starbucks, it has a really huge hole on the top. That's not a problem. Just put a clear tape over it and then make a little hole, and you can place your rope right through it. And the reason why I have a blue cup under, let me get this out. The reason why I have a blue cup, have this placed into the blue cup, is because I want to prevent the algae from getting into here. So if you want to do the same thing with this, you can cover it with felt, you can cover it with a plastic, something black that'll prevent the algae or the sun creating algae in here. You can also paint it too. I've done it. I've used acrylic paint and I just painted the bottle. So these are some few things you can do while you're stuck at home. And this took several months. So I'm sure there's a lot of months left for us to be staying at home. So go ahead and do your hydroponics, and you can go ahead and watch your plants grow. And you can use them to cook. Wheatgrass, you can place them in your food, your salad, or your drinks. All right, so thank you so much. I'm hoping all of you will start your planting and get a green thumb. Please come back for more activities on the Kapuna Network. Thank you.